everyone, to the Punk Rock Horror Podcast in 2019. And unfortunately, unlike your tax refund, we showed up. We're here.
Shots fired.
Government.
Shots fired.
Fuck you, edgy.
Because it's going to be down for years, apparently.
So this is what living in North Korea is like.
Man, yeah.
Shout out to anyone who's listening to us in North Korea.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean...
We're sorry?
I mean, I guess we can't really compare our country to yours. Because there's still a drastic difference, but we kind of get it now.
I mean, Trump wants us to be like it. He's flat out said it.
USA. To any of our Canadian listeners or Australian listeners or anywhere else who listens to us, if you want to give me and Cody and our respective families a chance to live there, we'd love it. We'd take you up on that offer.
I like maple syrup.
I love fried ham.
I mean, I am a whiskey lover, so.
But on to better things. We're back.
Yeah, new year, new you.
New year, new you.
New year, new you. Who dis?
Yeah, we already fucked everything up. So back. We'll catch you on 2020.
2020 is going to be our year. Yeah. Kanye, 2020.
I stand by my statement. If he can run, I'm going to run. And my opening thing is, hey, I'm going to make every Monday throw apples at a Kardashian day. And Jenner day.
And Jenner.
Yeah. So, I mean...
So, you know what's really funny? Just bringing up that I saw this post about how how everyone's starting to blame the Buffalo Bills for the reason the Kardashians became famous.
Huh.
Because originally... So, they lost one specific game when O.J. Simpson was, like, starting to become big or whatever, and which got him drafted to the Bills. I think that's who he played. Or whatever football team he ended up playing for. If the Bills would have won... Yeah. If the Bills would have won that one certain game... Yeah. Then O.J. would have never been drafted, and then he would have never met his wife, who he allegedly, quote unquote, he murdered. He did murder.
I actually think I'm pretty positive they came out and said that he did in fact murder her.
Yeah, and then he would have never hired the lawyer who was the Kardashian. So then the Kardashians, and the Kardashians never would have been famous because he got that one eek of popularity.
All it takes is one, right?
Yeah. So the Buffalo Bills are the reason the Kardashians are famous.
Yay?
Sport, yeah, basically.
I guess. Yeah.
Thanks, Buffalo.
So a couple things of housekeeping. You probably have just heard the new intro that we made. We hope you guys like it.
Woot.
We figured come in the new year with a new intro. That's not completely changed, but just updated.
New year, new you.
Basically, yeah. Thank you again to all of you listeners for being patient with us while we took December off and just relax, spend time with our families that we needed to. And just thank you for being patient. We do appreciate it.
Yep.
I did come out with an update letting all listeners know, and I told you about it too, that, you know, what we've been doing in the meantime, and that merch is still coming out in March. So
yep, March will be merch.
March.
I don't know. We figured, March.
Yeah, and before going forward, we do have a shout out to give to our new patron, Amanda. Thank you, Amanda, for supporting the show. And for becoming a supporter of our Patreon. Thank you so much. You're an amazing person, and we send you our hugs and love for being our new supporter. And thank you again to our other patrons for your continuing support as well.
Thank you all.
Going forward, Cody, how was your break? What did you do on it? What was the most significant thing that you want to talk about?
It worked, dude. That's like basically all I did.
I'm sorry.
I was super excited for Christmas because I was excited to hopefully get Christmas off this year, but we were short staffed, so I ended up working.
Yeah.
And so that kind of sucked, but I did get to celebrate Christmas a little early with my mom and my stepdad Gary. They came up, which was nice, and took me, Dev, and Audrey out for quote unquote Christmas dinner.
Got it.
So that was fun. And then After I got off from Christmas, I went and spent time with Dev and her family, and just hung out there. So I don't know, man. It's like past month. Besides like getting Super Smash Bros.
Yeah.
And like, celebrating a little bit of Christmas. Like it's just been work.
Well, I mean, there was New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve was fun. Yeah, you and Lauren came up. That was a lot of fun. That was actually. It's funny as that was the first time Dev really got to celebrate New Year's Eve.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I guess, like, I was even her first New Year's kiss
ever.
Yeah.
It worked out in the end.
Pretty much. And then her first drag show. I mean, we missed most of it, but we still got to see a little bit of it. I thought that was fun.
Yeah, shout out to anyone who works at or regulars at the Downtown Artery.
Downtown Artery. You said Downton. Like
innuendo
Downton
for
Abbey.
Penis. It's an innuendo for a penis. We all know it, okay? It's a gay bar. It's fantastic, and we love it.
It's actually not a gay bar.
It's not a gay bar?
No. It's just an artsy-fartsy bar.
You told me it was a gay bar.
No, it was a gay bar that night.
Oh. Well, I mean...
That's why it was called the Big Gay Ball Drop. It was just for the night.
Well, you know what? Egg on my face, I guess.
I'm sure that's where a lot of them go up here. Cause
I
don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, there is the R bar. That's the legit gay bar.
Well, for me, I thought it was gay bar because I was like Downtown Artery. Oh, like your dick. I get it. That's funny. I wonder if is that really not the interpretation that you're supposed to get?
No.
I was like, oh, I get it. It's like a joke for your penis.
No,
whatever.
It's just an artsy fartsy place. Like they have an art walk once a month.
I guess that makes more sense. Artery.
Yeah, basically.
God. Well, you're now a gay bar to me. So I even thought to myself coming out for recording, I was like, man, we should go to a gay bar tonight. That place is actually pretty dope.
Yeah, we could go to the actual gay bar.
I mean, I have nothing against it. It's just funny I just believe that was the official, like, gay bar.
Nope.
So, well, okay.
The more you know. Knowing is half the battle.
Do G.I. Joe.
I will say I get so disappointed at work whenever I do that because no one else joins in with me. Like, someone will even, like, I'll just hear, like, someone in the kitchen just go, the more you know. And then I'll, like, poke my head out from the corner and go, and knowing is half the battle. No one else will tag along with it. Like, they'll just look at me like I'm a fucking piece of shit. I'm just like, all right, I'll just go fuck myself then.
That's when you gotta throw a plate of food and like, fuck you guys, I'm going home.
You know what? I'm gonna throw another one unless someone says G.I. Joe right now.
I'm serious. I will end everyone here. Get my references.
Get on my level.
Oh man. Well, I'm glad you were able to do something for Christmas.
Yeah.
That sucks. And like New Year's Eve was fun. We did have a good time. It looked like you had a good time as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were swing dancing with Dev, and I was like, oh,
a little bit trying, but then she just kept going like, I can't do this. I was like, oh my god, no one cares
if it
what
helps,
we look like.
I did try to like tell Dev, I'm like, look, I hate dancing too in public places. So let's just figure this out together. Like you're not in this because it was funny because like you and Lauren like to dance in public places, but me and Dev don't like to dance in public places.
I know, it's really weird, isn't it?
Yeah, that was a weird trade-off.
Like I said, I mean, we figured that like our taste in women was like completely switched.
Yeah.
Like I usually, Dev's definitely a lot smaller than my usual.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's okay.
Oh no, I have no complaints.
Ain't no wrong there. Just thank God she doesn't have a tail. I'm joking. To anyone who has a tail out there, I'm genuinely kidding.
I'm not commenting. I don't want to get hit.
That's because I have a tail. I'm self-projecting. Oh God, we got to come back at this with like fresh new humor. We like took a whole month off.
I know. Well, so far we've done the new you thing, and I think I've already jugged that to the ground.
Look, again, people have to know what they're getting into. They have to know we're gonna make dumb jokes and we're gonna end up with egg on our face. It's either we take the egg off and cook it and make it something delicious you can eat, or it's just rots and smells bad. So
I mean, both are okay with me. I like eggs. I like egg.
Oh yeah. Do you want me to tell you what all I did?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I was about to ask anyways, but then you're like, here, let me talk about me now without you introducing it, because it's all about that.
It's cool.
Yeah. What did you do, Matt, for your month off?
I will actually say, like, one of my favorite moments of last, well, I guess, no, it would be last month, was actually, like, sitting with you and helping you in Kingdom Hearts.
Fuck that game.
I don't know what it is with Squaresoft and like their
Square Enix,
Square Enix, and they're like,
I mean, they used to be Squaresoft actually.
Yeah, that's why I keep
all those nerds.
That's why I keep calling it Squaresoft. Because I feel like it's a lot funnier to say Squaresoft. I'm like, they need a medication. We square hard. But yeah, like, no, I really challenged myself to try to be as lazy as possible because it's hard for me to actually sit down and be lazy, but once I force myself and do it, like, I'm too much of a pro at it.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I did is I actually started watching a lot of horror movies that I've been meaning to. Like, I watched Mayhem all on Shudder. I mostly watched Shudder because I finally got on the Shudder bandwagon. Holy shit, they actually do have a lot of good movies on there. But
yeah,
Mayhem,
I was looking through that too, and I was. Fuck, man. I was actually really impressed with what they got on there.
Oh, yeah, dude. And it's, like, so much a better deal than, like, HBO and, like, Stars. And, I mean, to be fair, to be fair, you have to, like, be into bloody horror movie. Just, like, horror content in general in order to, like, Shudder.
All I know is I saw that the Audition was on there.
Yeah.
I was super excited to watch that movie.
Well, and, like, Itchy the Killer's on there. Which, that ending of that fucking movie is really weird. Like... Holy shit. Not like, it's not like, well, I'll talk about Ichi another day, but like, because I watched a lot of horror. I watched Ichi, Mayhem, I watched Bird Box, which was at best.
You didn't like Bird Box, what?
No, I mean...
I still haven't watched it. Everyone keeps telling me I need to watch it, so I feel like that's why I'm prolonging it so much.
Well, that's why I told you about it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's probably why it's taken me so long to play Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Okay, so first off, I didn't play it originally because when it came out, like, it was the huge, like, it was like one of the early renaissances of like JRPGs were turn-based when it first came out.
Okay.
And so I was not into turn-based. And then everyone was just shitting a brick about, like, oh my god, Kingdom Hearts, blah, 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 it's amazing. And I was just like, I'm just going to go play Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, no, I feel you, man.
And so I just decided to start playing it now, mostly because my goal is to beat it before Harrison, because Harrison's never beaten the Kingdom Hearts games, even though he keeps saying he's been waiting 13 years for the third game, and he's never beaten either of them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
He's actually never gotten past Tarzan in the first Kingdom Hearts.
Okay.
And he said he never got to the end in the second one. So I'm like, all right, this is the wheezing all over again in Pokemon Go. I got to make sure I get it before you.
Healthy competition.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that, and I finally started playing some more video games. Like I finally been pushing my way through, which I'm gonna go on a rant here in a second. But like I've been pushing my way through Final Fantasy X, which for me, Final Fantasy X is better than Final Fantasy VII. And before you get all pissed off at me and like send a whole like giant paragraph as why Final Fantasy VII is better, here's my reasons why. First of all, when I look at Final Fantasy X compared to Final Fantasy VII's graphics, I don't want to stab my eyes out with Final Fantasy X. I understand Final Fantasy VII is fucking amazing, but holy shit, those graphics are outdated, and you cannot deny that. Second of all, Final Fantasy X was the first in the Final Fantasy genre that I actually did get into.
Yeah, that was mine too.
Yeah, so like, with those games, I do like to get as far as possible. But holy shit, unlocking some of the weapons in that game is fucking irritating.
Yeah.
Because you get like an ultimate weapon, and you have to get like 2 items in order to upgrade that ultimate weapon.
Yeah.
And you have to do something specific for all 3 things.
Uh-huh.
And for fucking Lulu, you have to like go to the Thunder Plains and dodge lightning strikes 200 times without messing up once.
What?
Yeah, it's the most fucking frustrating thing possible. And I was talking about this with like my friend Daniel, and he's like, "Oh, dude, it's not that bad. It only takes like 40 to 45 minutes to do." And I'm like, "Oh, is that all?"
Yeah. You know what I could do in those 40 to 45 minutes? Kill things.
Yeah, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm just not going to really rely on Lulu in the party. How about that? So props off. But the other thing I played the shit out of was the Spyro Reignited trilogy, which is a solid game, except two things. Obviously, the fact that they don't include subtitles in the game. And second of all, there is a game fucking breaking glitch that I actually posted on my Instagram that pissed me off. So basically, in the Year of the Dragon remaster, when you go into this level where you have to follow the crazy miner to his treasure chest, you have to use a cannon to break the walls that he points at. Well, if you get to the last wall before him and you blow it up before he gets there to point at it, he will just stand there pointing at the wall, even if it's gone, and not actually jump over to the ship to open his chest. So because he won't open his chest, he won't go through a portal to go to the homeworld, to go to the rocket ship, to make it so you can actually go to the final level of the entire game to fight the boss, so you can't actually beat the game. So, Toys for Bob, Activision, mostly Toys for Bob, get on your fucking shit and patch this, because it's really irritating.
So, do you have to restart the entire game?
Yeah, well, only Year of the Dragon. But actually, no, here's the thing. So I think you do, because I haven't really looked into it, because the way the Reignited trilogy works is that, so it gives you like 3 save slots.
Yeah.
But those save slots are for each game. So like in one save slot you'll have Spyro 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, I get you.
But I would have to delete that entire save slot.
Oh.
So that means so it leads me to 2 options, which is either I start all the way back from Spyro 1 and go to Spyro 3 and go all the way through Spyro 3 to avoid that, or I just start Year of the Dragon on a separate file. But the thing is that I don't know if that keeps you from getting a trophy or not.
I don't know.
So that's why I'm just like, for fuck's sake. So.
I will say one thing I did do this month that it's been a really bad guilty pleasure of mine.
What?
I've been watching and buying the most terrible movies. Like, I don't know what it is. I just been enjoying, like, horrible movies. Like, okay, I bought Slender Man.
Oh, my God.
And I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. I don't think it deserved near as much shit, but I understand where all the shit was coming from. Could it have done better? Yes. Did it have some good features? Yes. Should they have expanded on it? Yes. Should it have been rated R? Most definitely. But, like, that, Truth or Dare, I watched both versions. Yeah. Like, the big screen Blumhouse one.
Okay.
And then there's this one on Netflix, and I enjoyed both of them. And I was, like, sitting there watching them. I'm like, these are terrible, but they're so much fun. So, like, there's that. Predator, like, The Predator or whatever.
Oh, the latest one.
Got shit on a lot, and I watched it. I was like, you know, it's better than Predators.
Was that the one with what is it, with where they're on the Predator planet?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was better than that, which I still enjoy that movie a lot.
Yeah.
I even like this one better than Predator 2. Fight me, Donald Glover or whatever.
To be fair, I don't think anyone likes Predator 2. I don't think Predator 2 likes Predator 2.
And then I watched The Meg. I like that movie a lot.
Yeah, that one got some love.
It did. But I think it's because it knew not to take itself too seriously.
Oh, God.
But it definitely takes itself too seriously at points.
Yeah,
like hardcore.
I gotta watch it at some point. Well, I think the only reason I haven't is because I know it's not as bloody as it could be, and that's just.
I mean, it kind of makes sense why it's not, because when you think about it, if a megalodon's gonna eat a human being, it's not just gonna bite him in half. It's literally gonna swallow it.
No, I know. I don't know. I was just wanting more gore.
I will say I watched it with Dev.
Yeah.
And she got so goddamn mad when this baby whale got eaten. And she was like, she literally jumped out of bed. Like, no! Fuck you, Meg! Fuck you! And I'm just sitting there like, hey, Meg.
Oh, that's funny. All right, man. We should jump into it.
Mm-hmm.
So, so today, thanks to our amazing Anna, she actually suggested our episode ideas for this month, our themes. So our first one we're going to talk about animation and horror, specifically like
animated horror.
Yes, animated horror. So we're going to talk about horror cartoons and just we're just gonna dive into it.
Little monsters.
Oh my god,
I love that show.
That was such a good show.
I know.
And the cartoon like Beetlejuice, that was also a really
that
good
is
one.
a very underrated show.
Oh, I agree. That was a solid one. I actually loved watching that one.
Mm-hmm.
But so we're gonna jump into it. So what we're gonna do is give a little backlog, a little history of animation in general, and then we're gonna talk about why people like to watch cartoons and horror cartoons, and enough talking about it. Let's just jump into it. So, the history of animation started long before the development of cinematography. Humans have probably attempted to depict motion as far back as the Paleolithic period. Shadow play and the magic lantern offered popular shows with projected images on a screen, moving as the result of manipulation by hand and or some minor mechanics. In 1833, this one, I really tried to get this one down, so we're going to see how well I fucking do this. The
Phenakistoscope.
Yeah, that. Introduced the
Stroboscopic.
Yeah, that one too. Principle of modern animation.
Animation. You said animation.
I'm laughing too hard. I'm laughing. The principle of modern animation.
Get to the cinematography.
I'll finish it off, and it's worth saying. And would always provide the basis for cinematography.
New year. We're going all the way back to fucking Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Numerous devices that successfully displayed animated images were introduced well before the advent of the motion picture. These devices were used to entertain, amaze, and sometimes even frighten people. Ooh, it's a ghost. The majority of these devices didn't project their images. It could only be viewed by one or fewer persons at a time. Those uhs were not necessary. They were considered optical toys rather than devices for a large-scale entertainment industry like later animation. Many of these devices are still built by and for film students learning the basic principles of animation. Some of these devices are... Sorry, you wrote it in bold. So
Sorry, buddy.
Thaumatrope. I already said this. Where about? Phenakistoscope and the flip book.
By the way, before we continue, I'd like to point out that I realized I was kind of a dick enough to give you the harder pronounced words first on that, and then end it with flip book.
Yeah,
the easy one.
So, hold on. It's actually that it was kind of ironic. So. Actually, one thing I did do in December, because I actually got a pretty good bonus from one of my jobs.
Yeah.
I was able to actually kind of buy myself more video games, and there's one game coming out on the Switch I was super stoked for.
Okay.
Actually relates to this.
Really?
I bought Bendy and the Ink Machine.
I think I know what you're talking about.
So, it's all about it's styled the old Steamboat Willie.
Okay, so it's kind of like the competitor for Cuphead.
No.
Really? Because that's how it was described to me.
No, it's a competitor for Five Nights at Freddy's.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, continue.
So basically you're this old animator, and you used to work on an old cartoon and all the cartoons in this are based off of the old Steamboat Willie games.
Yeah.
And holy shit, dude, I almost pooped my pants a couple times playing this game. It's really short. I haven't beaten it yet. I'm almost done with it, but I was so excited because I watched a couple playthroughs of the game. And Game Theory actually does a couple episodes about this game.
Okay.
And I watched the Game Theory episode about it, and I was like, I need this game in my life. But it was and it's on Steam. And I was like, I'm just gonna go fuck myself. And then I saw they were releasing it for consoles, and I was like, I have to get it on the Switch. I don't know why it has to be the Switch, but it has to be the Switch. Right. And I went out to go buy the hard copy, found out it was a GameStop exclusive for the hard copy. And it sold out. And I looked at the guy at the cash register. I was like, how is this game sold out? It's a really, really underground game. And he was like, there's no FNAF. So all the kids wanted a new scary game. So their parents were like, this looks good. I was like, really? He was like, yeah. I was like, they're not going to appreciate it. And he's like, oh, I know.
Still beat them up.
But it's really good, and I don't know. I just thought it was funny that we're doing animated horror movies, and I'm playing an animated horror game.
Right.
It's all about the old animations like Steamboat Willie and everything, because it's about Inky the Devil, who's actually Mickey Mouse. straight up murders the fuck out of this wolf who's basically Goofy.
Dope. What are you doing there?
How about to hook you up?
Maybe you hook, you asshole.
Yeah.
All right, so coming back, Charles Emile Reynaud further developed his projection praxinoscope into the theater optique. I'm just going to call it the theater. With transparent hand-painted colorful pictures in a long perforated strip wound between two spools. Patented in December of 1888, from the 20th of October 1892 to March 1900, Reynaud gave over 12,800 shows to a total of over 500,000 visitors at the Musée Grévin in Paris. His pantomime Lumière. I'm going to guess that's how I said it, right? Just let me go with it. Just let me have it. Series of animated films, each contained 300 to 700 frames that were manipulated back and forth to last 10 to 15 minutes per film. A background scene was projected separately. Piano music. Was projected separately by piano music. Song and some dialogue
were
performed
projected
live.
Separately. And then piano music, song, and some dialogue were performed live while sound effects were synchronized
with an electromagnet.
You wrote this.
Shut up. The first program included 3 cartoons: Pauvre Pierrot, created in 1891, Un Bon Boc, created in 1888, which is now lost apparently, and Les Clowns et Chines, created in 1890, now lost. Later on the titles En tour d'une cabine, created in 1893.
Oh, oui, oui, madame.
In 1893, and I gotta calm down.
A rêve au coin du feu.
I wanted to do it. Would be part of the performance. That was me. Pretend that was me that said it. So
the reason we enjoy. Oh wait, yeah, we'll go back to this.
So. All right.
You know, just because you have like European heritage with your Spanish doesn't mean you know you can do a French accent.
Dude, you want to know what? You really want to know why I decided to just keep the original French dialogue for it and not just translate it. You want to know why I did it? It was because that one time that I said something in French actually really well and I got it good. I was like, no, I can create magic again. I can do it again. Easy. This is easy. Saying French words is easy. I can do this all the time. I could move to France if I wanted to right now. So that's kind of what went through my head. And the backup thought was like, and if I fail, it'll be more entertainment.
Au revoir, au coin de feu.
Gesundheit. Before going forward, I do want to kind of talk about how cool it is in general that cartoons were basically the form of entertainment before movies were, and I think maybe that's because back then it was easier to do, but just kind of really thinking about this, I guess you could make the argument that we take cartoons for granted now because it's all super easily downloadable and you can get wherever you go. Back then you had to go to a theater, you had to pay a dude to play piano and make the whole thing come alive for you. You couldn't just only not paint it on something and use hand puppets and hand motions to make it come alive. You actually had to do a whole play, basically. You had to do a play with cartoons. And that's just kind of really cool and really makes me think how SpongeBob would have done back then.
No, this is Patrick! And there's some really big fat dude standing in the front that just screams at the audience, no, this is Patrick!
No, this is Patrick! By the way, I would like to mention how SpongeBob is the only cartoon we mostly reference on this podcast. If you don't know where our maturity level is, there's a good hint.
Another cool fun fact about cartoons is that, especially in America, cartoons were mostly made for adults. Like, cartoons didn't become a child thing until way later. Like, cause
that's a good point.
Because, like, especially with the troops overseas and everything, like Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
The original Looney Tunes and even some of the older Disney ones were mostly made for the troops because it was easy to make, and they could ship out masses of them, and so it was for the troops to have entertainment.
Well, and
same with comics.
Yeah, and that kind of like led to the whole propaganda too, like propaganda cartoons with the Nazi Donald. Yes, it happened, and we're going to bring it up every now and then.
Yeah.
Because...
Well, okay, he almost became a Nazi, and then he decided to join the America. I watched that cartoon so many goddamn times because my grandpa, he had a bunch of really old, like, cassette tapes. Yeah, we're that old. Cassette tapes with, like, Looney Tunes and stuff like that. And there's this one, Donald Duck one, where, like, he was about to get swayed by the Nazis.
Right.
And not gonna lie, so I was like really little and I didn't understand what the Nazis were and like how the Nazi was trying to like sway Donald Duck. I was totally sitting there, I was like, and like, so the American bird, there was an American bird and a Nazi bird trying to like sway Donald's like persuasion and like persuade Donald to go with either one.
Okay.
And he fucking like, the Nazi one like showed him like, you can get hooch and women and booze and parties if you come be a Nazi. And like I'm sitting there because I don't know what a Nazi is. I'm like 5, and I was kind of sitting there like, but they're having a party. Like, why wouldn't you want to go to the party? And the American dude was like, if you come fight for us, you know, you got the American spirit. I was like, but party. And like Donald totally decks this Nazi bird and like destroys the bar that he was trying to lure him in. And I was just sitting there, I was like, I don't understand.
Party.
And then my dad was like, the Nazis are bad. I was like, what's a Nazi? I want to go to the party.
Who doesn't like parties?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's like...
And then the older I got, I was like, I get it now. Because they were trying to use sinful things to lure him over, and yet he was a true-hearted Christian American.
You know, I think about... For some reason, it makes me think about, like, those, like public, like, service, like, videos of, like, being aware of, like, stranger danger, and they would have the dude come up in a van and be like, come on, kids, I got candy! And I'm just like, dude, no kid would fall for it if you had candy. They're not that susceptible. And then you tell me the story about how about how you thought the Nazi Party was cool, not knowing what they actually were, their intentions were. Yep. And I was like, you know what, maybe they kind of have a point. Maybe there's something there.
Just maybe.
But anyways, the fact that they even had like scary cartoons all the way back then was really kind of cool. And also
look at the original Fantasia.
Oh shit, yeah. Or even what is it? I'm going to touch on that in a second because that brings up a good point. But what I was going to say is just like the fact that there was like horror even back then in cartoon form is just, it brings back the point of why we do this podcast even more so, because again, horror has its hands in everything and has an influence in everything even way back in the 1800s. So anyways, you brought up Fantasia. I want to point that out too. A lot of like early Disney cartoons and like Disney movies like had a lot of scary shit in it. The Black Cauldron is probably one of the most notorious of that. But another one that people that don't bring up is and I just have the title in my head, but it was a Disney one, and it was basically this guy who has to fight the Headless Horseman. It was like Ichabod Crane and the Headless Horseman.
Yeah,
like,
Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah, fucking that. Well, no, it was just called like Disney's Ichabod, and like.
Yeah, no, I know.
No, yeah, but anyways, we all know the classic tale. But yeah, like it's like terrifying.
I remember watching that, dude. I was like, what the fuck? Especially when he threw the jack-o'-lantern and it's on flames and hits the camera.
Oh yeah, it's intense. Or even like if you think about it, Sleeping Beauty. With like Maleficent, when she turns into the big huge fucking like dragon, and then come back to Fantasia where they're with the demon. It's a demon.
Yeah.
Is it the devil or is it a demon?
I don't know.
I think it's the devil. Either way, like it's very like striking animation and very terrifying. And this is all just coming from Disney.
Yep.
Like there was who
does Mary Poppins?
I know, right? Like in the like fucking. And Moana. Well, no, I guess that's Pixar, but fucking whatever, same thing. It's just like there was a lot of terrifying information, and I kind of, when we were doing research for us, and I brought this up with you, is that why is it that us adults like to watch cartoons? Why do we enjoy watching cartoons? I mean, it's to be fair, we have grown up in a society where it's like you kind of need a transition from watching cartoons to watching more live action kind of adult oriented stuff, and we're in a way kind of conditioned to do that, but we do still have adults who have careers and jobs and families that like to watch cartoons, everything from My Little Pony to Rick and Morty to The Simpsons to SpongeBob still, and so I was thinking about it, and I remember reading this article about this term called doublethink, and so this is just what I think, and we're going to talk about this now, is the reason why we enjoy cartoons, which is called, again, doublethink. And what doublethink is the act of simultaneously accepting two mutually contradicting beliefs as correct, often in a distinct social context. So basically, it's when we're watching cartoons, to put it in layman's terms, it's all about, I know I shouldn't be watching this. I'm an adult. This is an immature thing for me to watch, but I still like watching this. It's very pleasing to me. And so I think it's partly because we're influenced with this doublethink psychological aspect of it, but also it's when we watch cartoons, we like to, it's the same reason for comic book movies.
Yeah.
Is we like to have a tale about a hero, something that's our inner child, something that makes us laugh.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why we like to watch cartoons. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, in my personal opinion, it's just I always like cartoons. They're fun.
Yeah.
I think that's just kind of the way it is. It's especially with our generation, because when you think about it, our generation kind of got spoiled with cartoons.
True.
Us millennials or whatever. I remember the original Cartoon Network, with Ed, Ed and Eddie, Courage the Cowardly Dog, which is another horror themed cartoon.
Probably one of the more popular ones too.
Yeah, and I think part of it is because again, not to get super meta or bitchy millennial or whatever. So if I like watching those cartoons that remind me of childhood, I mean I have the entire box set of the original 1990s Ninja Turtle cartoons.
Right.
And I go back and watch them all the time. I think it's because it takes us back to a time where it was simpler.
Yeah.
And easier. And our generation, especially our generation, with everything that's going on right now, it's a way for us, it's an escape. It's escapism.
Yeah.
So I know you and me have our horror and our comic books and video games
and
but cartoons were a lot easily acceptable, and a lot of us watched them. We had our Saturday morning cartoons and stuff like that, which was a thing, and I think it's just a way for us to escape to a simpler mindset, so we still enjoyed those cartoons. Right. And watching those kind of things, I think it's more of an escapist thing.
I agree with that. And I think that kind of going off of that to why we like to watch horror cartoons and what's so cool about it is I think for me, in a way, when I watch something that's horror animated, it's a violation of that, and it's challenging to watch it, and so I like to take on that challenge because it's this new realm of terror watching a horror cartoon. It's I guess a good example of it is the first horror inspired cartoon that I really watched that shocked me, if you want to count it, was Itchy and Scratchy. It's a cartoon within a cartoon.
Yeah.
But if you really think about it, it's two characters mutilating each other. Well, one mutilating the other. But it's still pretty terrifying to watch. And then even going on from that, the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror.
Yeah, I used to love the Treehouse of Horror ones.
It scared the shit out of me, but I couldn't stop watching it. And it's all for the same reasons that I got into horror in general.
No beer, no TV makes Homer do something, something, something. Go crazy, don't mind if I do.
But they did the whole parody of The Shining. The one that really freaked me out the most was their parody of Hansel and Gretel. where it's Bart and Lisa, and they come across like the Goldilocks and the Three Bears, and so like you can hear her getting murdered behind the door, and you see the blood come out of under the door. Yeah. And that was the first time I ever saw like something like that with like Goldilocks, because Goldilocks and Three Bears was like a story that was read to me a lot as a kid. And when I saw that, I was like, "What's this supposed to happen?"
For me, it was actually the Freddy Krueger one.
Oh, that was pretty bad. Yeah, where it's Willie.
Yeah, Willie.
Yeah, just like that one was fucking terrifying too.
And like at the very end, he just gets off a bus. Yeah. And he's still alive. He's like, "Oh, I'm still alive."
That one was pretty fucking freaky, though.
Yeah, like when Martin dies and no one pays, like, everyone's just watching him burn to death. And just like, eh.
But even if you like think about it, like, there was all, and this wasn't a Treehouse horror episode, but there was one where, like, Homer forgets Bart at, like, soccer practice.
Oh, yeah.
And so when he picks him up, he's like, "I got you a Sunday," and he imagines, like, Homer melting by the flesh. And, like, that was fucking freaky, dude. Like, there was some freaky shit when it comes to animation. And I think, like, what's so appealing about it is the same reason for, like, comics and horror, is that you can get away with so much more graphic content in a cartoon than you could in a movie. Not just like restriction wise, but because of like time and effort to make an effect, you can easily just draw it and animate it and have it happen.
Yeah. Well, also I think another, like, especially for us, like a big appeal with horror and cartoons, like especially cartoons, like, you know how hard it is to come by them. Like,
yeah,
it was hard for us to find movies for this subject and everything, mostly because, like, you know, like when we were talking with Anna about this, like, she really wanted one of us to go over like Nightmare Before Christmas or Corpse Bride or even Coraline, and I was like, well, like, because we were wanting to like try and find more underrated ones, because that's generally what we try and do on this podcast. But like,
yeah,
when I was like sitting there thinking about it, I was like, man, those were kind of like the only three I could really think of, because like it's hard to find like a really good scary horror animated, unless it's like an anime, because like anime is like all over that stuff.
Yeah, like Parasite,
Eve,
not Gurren, Tokyo Ghoul,
Death Note.
Was it? I think it's called Gantz or Nance Zero.
Nat Zero,
I think.
Yeah, and High School of the Dead.
Yeah, well, you know, that one's like a porn hidden horror. But if you ever seen High School of the Dead,
okay,
you know what
90% of anime is basically porn hidden.
Yeah, but I
think that one is a little bit more.
I couldn't do it anymore with High School of the Dead
when he like had the AK-47 wrapped around her tits to get more stability.
Yeah, and like
every shot just blue blue blue.
That's when I was like, okay, if this gets any more fucking stupid, I don't think I can handle this. And then when he shot the gun, and she, like, dodges it, and it slow-mos her boobs, dodging the fucking bullet, going around it, and I'm like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I'm fucking done, man.
I wanted to season 2 so bad, because I actually got into that show, like, besides the tits, I was, like, really into the story, because I was like, it was like during my huge zombie phase.
But that's why I lost out of it, because it focused less on zombies and more about a love relationship and tits.
Yeah,
and I'm just like,
it was a three-way love relationship, because the chick that like dodged it, she was into the main guy.
Yeah,
and there's even a spot where him and her are like just basically naked in a boat at one point. And she's like, "I need you to warm me up," and they're holding each other naked and shit. And he's just like, "Don't get a boner.
Right.
Don't get a boner." And she's like, "I want to suck you off," basically.
Well, and I got nothing against that, but like, pick your fucking genre. Yeah. Is this a romantic porn, or is this a fucking horror show? Like, don't, because I felt so misled about it.
Because the first episode, holy shit,
it was fucking good. Especially like when it's the two little like high school girls who are just like, "We're gonna get this together," and she's like, "No, fuck you, bitch," and like kicks her into like the mob of zombies.
Yeah.
Like, and then she gets fucking eaten hardcore, and I was just like, yes,
yeah,
that's fucking tight.
But I think that's like one of the things, because one of the most pronounced ones I never got to watch, but look, since like I think you have HBO on your Prime, I'm probably gonna go back and watch, is the original Spawn.
Yeah,
like that's the only one I remember like hearing about when I was little around that time. That was late 90s.
Yeah,
but like
I think that's why we like it so much, because it's hard to find a really good horror animated that's not anime.
Well, and I do want to kind of like take it back to like Tim Burton, Cowardly Dog here.
Mm-hmm.
Is that so? Like, Tim Burton's probably the only like filmmaker who has brought like horror animation to a mainstream effect. Because I mean, if you to people who aren't
give us another one also besides just Tim Burton. Like, email us.
Like, I'm sure I'm not giving credit to someone who really does deserve credit, but like the reason I'm making that point is because everybody said, you know, either says that their favorite movie is Nightmare Before Christmas, or they love The Corpse Bride, or they love Coraline, and then I'm just like, I think about it, I'm like, those are very horror themed, heavily horror themed, but they're touched with such a light tone.
Except Coraline. I will fight someone to say that's not a horror movie.
Well, but that's my thing. And, like Paranorman, like that wasn't a Tim Burton one, but I loved that one too.
Yeah,
and it's like, to be fair, it is stop motion, but we're going to consider it animation in this case because it is still animated to an effect.
I guess Haunted House.
Yeah,
is that what it's called?
Yeah,
or Monster House.
Monster House. And that one was actually really pleasant on the eyes.
Yeah.
Like that one had like a really deep meaning to it too. And it's like there's all these really cool like animated films, but we don't think about them. And I think the reason we don't think about them is that we get so numbed by movies like that are over the top, like Hostel or The Conjuring or Insidious.
Yeah.
And those are generally more easily accessible and get a lot more attention than cartoons because it's, I mean, if you think about it, if you're sitting in a movie theater and you see a trailer come up for Insidious, you're going to get scared. You're going to get a little creeped out. But if you see a trailer for Insidious that's animated, you're going to get a little, not be as freaked out unless you're into that and you are generally intrigued.
Yeah, because you generally correlate cartoons with like
child,
happy,
like children, like the doublethink theory that we brought up.
Yep.
And like reason I brought up Courage the Cowardly Dog is that I feel like animation horror is one of the few types of horror that is able to bring a good message across while telling a good, creepy, terrifying story. I mean, because Courage the Cowardly Dog had a lot of fucked up stories to it. They're terrifying. I mean,
especially with cats.
Yeah, any episode with cats. The one where they had the slab, and so they just suffer my curse. That's actually my favorite. And then
mine's Cat's Motel.
Yeah, that one too.
Dude, the spider. Oh my god! It's mostly because of Courage's tiny little smile when he's like shuts this door and he turns around, sees all the spiders in the jars. He's just like.
Well, and I think it was in Cat's Motel. I think it was in Cat's Motel. I could be wrong, but I think it was Cat's Motel where that fish pops up out of like the bathtub, and basically freaks out Courage, but basically tells Courage like, "You're perfect the way you are, like you're a good boy."
I don't think it was Cat's Motel when he says that, but I know what you're talking about. It's one where like he's trying to find Muriel. Yeah. Like I mean, in almost all of them, he's always trying to find Muriel.
To be fair.
It's one where like there's someone telling him that he's a bad dog throughout the entire thing. That's not
I know. No, I know what you're talking about. Now I remember which one. It was the weird, overly strict British lady.
Yeah. And the fish is the one who's like, you are perfect the way you are. You're a good boy.
Yeah. And well, that's my thing, is that there was always these like good messages in almost all of them. I mean, even the one with the floating head, who is basically like, I'm going to ruin everything for you, Eustace, if you don't grow anything on this farm.
Yeah.
And then eventually he like breaks down, like cries into the dirt, and like a little flower grows.
Yep.
Like there's always this like really nice and sweet message. Another one of my favorites was the one with the alien ducks, and also the one where they're in brothers. And the one where they're in that castle, and that castle shoots out cannons that makes people depressed.
Yeah,
because that was
the series finale.
But that was a good metaphor for like depression, though, and like
it was
like fighting depression and like just like a good episode that tackled mental health for kids, and like it there was such a heart to it that you don't really get with much horror movies these days, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there isn't. But I just feel like when it comes to like horror and animation, there is such this flexibility with being more creative, where you can put anything in. Whether it's strictly for kids, like we were talking about, with like All Real Monsters,
yeah,
or something all the way up to like Parasite Eve, where it's like a hand coming alive and fucking killing people.
Yeah.
Well, the hand doesn't kill people, but
it's an alien.
Fucking either way. I also think there's also this like morbid intrigue because it does violate. It feels like a violation because we grew up with like cartoons like you know Looney Tunes and Powerpuff Girls and Dexter's Laboratory and like you know usually kind of like upbeat slapstick stuff. And then when you see something that's so terrifying that just says no, cartoon characters can die too, in horrible ways.
Yeah.
Then I feel like there's a morbid intrigue into that. And I feel like in that aspect it's more safe though. Because it feels less real and you can get away with telling yourself easier that, you know, it isn't real. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, obviously, in a horror movie, you know it's not real, but when you look at a cartoon, you can just be like, yeah, that's not real.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
No, I agree with that. I think there's more shock. Honestly, I feel more shock when I see, like, horror cartoons, mostly because, like, when you watch cartoons, like, you see, like, Wile E. Coyote blow up all the time or fall from great heights and he just brushes it off. And then when you actually see a cartoon character die, it's like, holy shit.
Right.
Like, even this thing that's just drawn and animated that's supposed to be an immortal character.
Yeah.
Just straight up, like, dies.
Yeah, like a violation.
Yeah.
Like, it's a violation. Like, that's not supposed to happen.
So, like, I think in most cases, when it comes to cartoons, especially horror cartoons, like, kind of like what we talked about in our literature episode last year, was like it's more of an unease. Like you don't really get scared, you don't get like jump scares or anything, but like watching like the characters die, like in Spawn when he straight up murders someone, it's more like you're getting uneasy, and it's more of like I would say more kind of like an anxiety issue because you're like seeing all these you're seeing these like characters that you would think you correlate to like SpongeBob or Looney Tunes, where like you know all these horrible things happen to them, but they live, and then all of a sudden they die. So it's like violating that whole like mindset that we were, you know, drilled into our brain with cartoons.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and it's just, you know, I again, I'm glad this is more of a topic and not trying to answer a question because, I mean, it's something that we didn't really talk about. I mean, you know, almost everyone I talk to about horror films, not including you, because, I mean, obviously we're talking about cartoon horror films, is that it doesn't really come up.
We're talking sports ball.
Sports ball! Oh, we did talk about OJ, so I guess, I mean, that kind of counts as horror. I mean, it's there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, it's like, it never comes up, and there's, like, a lot of, like, solid, like, horror cartoons. And I think, like, it's just kind of this mentality where you're not taking it serious. Like, if I went up to someone and I was like, yeah, dude, like, have you checked out fucking, Parasite Eve, like it's fucking great. Like there's like the scene where like the hand comes alive and the person will ask, oh, I've never seen it. I'm like, oh, it's an anime. And then sometimes like
9 times out of 10 they're like, oh,
and even if it's not
there, I guess I'll check it out. And they're like, yeah, you fucking weirdo.
Well, even if it's not that, like there's just this like kind of fear that that you're not going to be taken serious, that you're going to be taken as immature, and I think that and I think that's why we don't talk about it. And I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe it's not that simple. Maybe it just doesn't come.
I don't know. I think it is kind of one of those things. Like, okay, I know that like us and most of our friends, like, and honestly, like people our age, we can actually talk about cartoons and like quote SpongeBob and Simpsons, and people won't think like, fucking stupid, immature piece of shit. Like, it's more of like, I think it was just kind of drilled into our heads about that whole entire thing. Like, as we get older, like, you're not supposed to like cartoons.
Yeah. And
so then even though we're watching more adult cartoons, like with horror cartoons and stuff like that, if it isn't like Rick and Morty or Family Guy or The Simpsons
unless it's like an adult content.
Yeah, and even then, if it's not like a comedic, like adult comedy cartoon, like, you know, if you, like, for instance, bringing up Parasite Eve or Nat Zero and stuff, like, you know, talking about, especially when it comes to anime, like, there's such a stigma of, like, why don't you fucking grow up and watch a real show? Yeah. Like, no, I think that's just kind of been drilled in our heads for so long, so it's just, like, especially anime, because I remember having to hide the fact that I like anime.
I had to do the same
for so long.
Like, just because, like, and I really like anime. Like, when I was back in college, like, if I had downtime in between studying, like, I'd go to Hulu when Hulu first came out and, like, watch anime.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
So it was like one of those. There's this one. Sorry, it's bugging me because like there was this horror anime that I used to watch, and like I was really sad that it never came out with like more of it, because that's actually how I really got into horror animation, was watching the horror animes like High School of the Dead. But there's this other one where it's about these group of kids and they were kind of like monster hunters, and one of them used a wooden sword. Another one was like a fist fighter who was like the special chosen one. I can't remember, man. Like it was way back.
Bleach?
2009. No. He used a wooden sword, not a real sword.
I don't know.
And like, but yeah, even Bleach, like that has horror aspects, but like, even though we used to, like, I would stay up late, watch Toonami, and like, watch all that, and like, the only time that I never got shit on for like an anime is if it was about Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
So like, I think it's just one of those things where it's like, it's hard to talk about animated horror or anything like cartoon horrors, because unless it's like computer animated or very well known like anime, you just kind of get shit on about it. Like, oh, you watch anime, you fucking suck, weirdo. Why'd you move to Japan? It's like, I would.
Like, look, we take showers, okay?
Yeah.
It's the pro Smash Bros. Players that don't take showers.
I was like, I have a girlfriend, so you know what? I can watch all the anime I want.
Also, just joking with any professional Smash Bros. Players out there. Just giving you a hard time.
Yeah. I'll fight you.
and then you get totally wipe the floor with us, because those guys are ridiculous.
I know. You watch that Fox and Falco battle?
Yeah,
dude, I still watch that and still can't understand how that shit works.
I feel like it has to be staged in some way.
Yeah.
Because they're all over the place in that one. I'm like, this is like, you've had to like play this game only for like a whole year at least. I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like we're kind of getting to the end of this.
Yeah.
We do got some podcast reviews to read out, because we did issue that challenge. But before we get to that, listeners, ghouls and gals, let us know what you think. You know, what are your thoughts on horror animation and or just liking cartoons in general? Are you, over the age of 18? Are you a teenager that likes to watch this stuff? Let us know what you think. Reach out to us on our Twitter at official PRHP, or on our Instagram.
Punk Rock Horror Podcast, or hashtag PRHP Podcast.
And just let us know what you think. What's your take on horror animation and just cartoons in general?
If you have a favorite one, like, yes, you can say like Nightmare Before Christmas, Coraline, and Corpse Bride. It's just like, we'd also like to know like what other ones are out there, because we had a hard time finding these movies. And like, I was actually like, even though I really, really enjoyed my movie, like it was hard. Like most of the time, we were finding like CG'd. Like, are there any more hand drawn ones?
Yeah.
Like, because I think both of ours are CG'd.
Mine's kind of.
Yeah, because like mine's a mix also, I feel like.
I'm pretty sure ours are in opposite ways. We'll talk about it on the next episode. But yeah, so going forward, you probably know that we did make a challenge to everyone via an update in December, and talked about it on our last episode of last year. That we challenged all of you listeners to go give us a 5-star rating on iTunes, but in your rating, write a review, and within your review, give us a burn the show, and we'll read it live on the podcast. And so, some of you have actually done that, and we're going to read this off. So, first off, this is kind of like a nice little Easter egg of the show. So this one's titled Figgy Pudding from Billy Goddamn Fuzzy Toes, and that's actually the name, is Billy Goddamn Fuzzy Toes. So Billy Fuzzy Toes, I'm fucking coming for you.
Now, he would have goddamn.
So he did.
God damn it.
So what he said was, or she said was, I absolutely love this podcast. Its hosts have a great sense of humor and are quite enjoyable to listen to. For being such a small podcast, still they have a great audience and a nice variety of guests that show up. This, despite the fact that one of these figgy pudding pronouncing hosts like to take a crap during the other host's movie reviews. Though to his defense, it would scare the crap out of you to hear how well done this movie review So it's just safer to listen to the podcast while on the toilet. So not too bad, but the one that really kind of like cut deep, that I don't know who this is, and there isn't like a name. It's just a bunch of random numbers and letters, and you know who you are because you've written it.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah, we're coming for you too. No. Titled Awesome Show. I love this show so much. I especially love having to always make grammatical changes that third graders wouldn't make. There's a difference between your and you are. Even my 3-month-old lizard knows that. Cody, you never should have dropped out of college. Matt, please stop using the devil horn emoji in every text. You're not as punk as you think you are.
You can go fuck yourself.
I gotta say something fucking... So I already told you a little bit about this, but I gotta share the story. So we have two friends that I think we can use their names. Named Brant and Katura. So they have lizards.
Yeah.
And so our buddy Brant, like he's big on like dark humor and fucked up humor. And so like I read this and I was like, I swear to God, I know who this is. So like I was like, this is fucking Brant. I know this is Brant. So like I texted Brant and I was like, your lizard can go fuck itself, Brant. And then like he texted me back, okay, with a question mark, and I was like, oh shit. And I was like, oh no, wait, it must be his wife, Katura. Because she's the one that actually got the lizard. Okay, I get it. Then I texted her. I'm like, you and your lizard go fuck itself, Katura. And she's like, what the fuck did my lizard do to you? And so, like, I had to call them up and apologize to them. And I'm like, I am so sorry. So there's this, and I had to tell them, like, there's this review on iTunes that said this. And I was like, I thought this was you guys. And she's like, they're like, no. So, like, and the reason I thought it was them is because it said, even my 3-month-old lizard knows that, and I thought it was theirs because I thought their lizard was about 3 months at the time.
You know what's funny is like, I would laugh really hard if it really was Katura and she's just fucking with you so bad.
Right now. I thought about that too, and I'm like, you know what? Bravo to them. But I also like to think it's funnier that they're just like, because they were literally like sitting in their living room, just like doing nothing, like relaxing, and all of a sudden they just get a random text, "Fuck you and your lizard." But like when I was talking to Brad about it, it was so funny because I was apologizing to him, and he's just like, "Dude, he's like, it's cool, but it was really fucking funny," because after you sent the text to me, Katura shortly got the text, and I was like, whatever, but apparently Katura in the other room was just like, what the fuck?
That's good.
So yeah, I will say that someone did actually leave us a nice little positive one too. We'll end on that. From I Need an Espresso or 5 said, love both of you guys. You guys always make me laugh even when I'm having a rough day. Well, you were welcome. I'm glad we make you laugh. Yeah. And thank you to our roasters. If you want to roast us and want us to read it on the podcast, please go over to iTunes, give us a 5-star rating, and roast us in your review. And maybe give us a little positive comment too if you want to. It's up to you. But either way,
yeah, new year, new you.
Also, I want to say because one thing I didn't mention that I wanted to mention is I want to thank you, Cody, for the shirt that you got me. Mm-hmm. So I love this shirt. It's Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, and Chucky all around a poker table playing poker, and Chucky stabbed Ghostface, and so I love this.
Like it.
Yeah, thank you, man. But thank you, ghouls and gals, for tuning in to the first episode of 2019. If you like what we're doing and you want to keep up with what we're doing, please like us, follow us on Facebook at Official Punk Horror Podcast. You can just search us up, Punk Rock Horror Podcast, on there as well. On our Twitter at Official PRHP, or on our Instagram,
Punk Rock Horror Podcast, #PRHP Podcast.
If you want to support the show and get all these exclusive amazing awards, especially get access to a bonus show that's coming out soon here called Anna's Half Hour Power, please consider going to our Patreon, patreon.com/punkhorrorpodcast. There's links to everything below in the episode notes and the details. Check our website out, www.punkrockhorrorpodcast.com. And if you want to send us your strange stories and band info, please send it to our email, www.punkrockhorror... Oh, wait, not it's the website. At punkrockhorrorpodcast@gmail.com. I apologize. So it's
supposed to be New Year, New You.
It's been a minute, dude.
Okay.
I'm falling off the wagon.
Already.
You can listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, YouTube, any podcast platform, and especially on our website. Yeah. With that being said, do you have anything you want to say?
Good to be back.
Good to be back, everyone. All right.
Yeah.
We will see you Friday. Podcast over.
Podcast over.